Welcome everyone, it's Unstoppable Stiletsy with the first ever Age of Empires 3 Wars of Liberty casting game. So you may remember me doing these for Definitive Edition. I guess Jeff Argento, one of our greatest players, has decided to create a Google Doc where you can upload your recorded games and I can cast them for you. And he's probably going to do some casting himself on his Twitch channel. You should check that out, it's pretty nice. But without further ado, our first game will be the Chorizo Muy Largo and Monita Boliviana Eternity versus Hyper and Foofy. The reason why I'm doing these today is actually there's a hotfix that was just released today, so if I don't do them now, I will never be able to do them when I update it. So you can expect these, and then after that, in another upload, I will handle this one here with Gafas testing a strategy against the AI. But before we see that fun, let's see this one. I'm looking forward to it, you know. It's going to be good to do a Wars of Liberty based series of casted games now, just like we did for DE. I'll be doing some of those today as well, now that my voice is back. Alright, so what do we got here? We got the Maori with Foofy. And for Hyper, we got the Germans. On the other side, we got our very own Chorizo Muy Largo Chori with the Peruvians. And our Juanita Boliviana Eternity with the Swedes. This is a pretty interesting set of civs here. Now, as you know, Peru, they are a very, I would say, semi-aggressive civ. They're really good at rushing with grenadiers. Likewise, Swedes are also very aggro-focused with their unit, the Beveringer, being a very fast musketeer that's great at running in and out. They're also a very wood-heavy civ, since they get the sawmill, which lets them trickle wood. So, for them, getting wood is no problem. And on the other side, we got the Maori, who thankfully starts with a free boat shed builder ship here that they can find anywhere on the water, and they can get a free dock that they can build fishing ships on called dugout canoes, and then they can train their war canoes there as well. So Maori already looking like a very good naval civ, and indeed they are, but they're also good on land as well. They in fact get some bonuses related to their unit training. I think they get an increased bounty for trained units. They also can train units in blocks of 10 instead of the usual 5. And their units also get a slight damage bonus for when they kill nearby enemies that last temporarily. So things sort of like the Serbia bonus where they gain attack from nearby dead units. Their allied Maori are the opposite. They get more by killing stuff rather than being killed themselves. And their ally here, the Germans, you know, this is the only vanilla civ you can recognize here. They are not Germans, they are British. That means that these houses, these Meitskairns, do produce a free settler when they're constructed. So think of them like British. Don't think of them like Germans. Now that we've sort of been here for a couple seconds, everybody's starting to grab treasures. Has Maori put their... Oh, they're just using their porter to check the water for now, but I'm sure at some point they'll plop it down and start making some dugout canoes. Let's see what deck they got. This could be pretty important. So, some big things to look out for here. The villager cards. Which types of these? So, these are the one shipment infantry cards. Now, Maori also get 2 shipment infantry cards that produce double the units, with them a little bit on top of it, but they cost 2 shipments. And you might be asking, why such expensive cards available? Well, because many of the age-ups the Maori can get through their voyages actually cost 2 shipments. So, for people that want to go for it, they have that available. Like this one right here, noted by the little ship icon. This is a 2 shipment card right here. Some other important cards for the Maori, the Moko Mokai. This is a really popular card. It basically allows you to gain coin for each enemy that you kill. So not only will killing enemies give your units increased attack temporarily, but it'll also give you a bit of coin back that you can use to make more units with. Another important card, Pakoka Adzes. This basically gives you every wood chopping technology at the market for free in Age 2. Really, really powerful. Because you basically get the third one, which would be the equivalent of circular saw, in Age 2, an age early. So you really get ahead in your wood chopping. And then you can focus more on the food and the coin. What voyage are they going up with? So they're going up with New South Wales. I think that's the second one. And this will grant them, I think, some food, a bit of wildlife, maybe a dingo or something, but not quite as much as the Fiji one, which is the next one. The Fiji one would have granted him a shipment, some coin, and some iguanas, or some lizards that he could gather for food. This one's still pretty good because it gives you some things. If you went with the New South Island to the South Island one in New Zealand, then it would have been quicker and cheaper, but he wouldn't have gained anything from it. It's like the Exiled Prince. We do see a livestock pen here from Fufi as well. Maori always start with the little pig here, which you can always use with the livestock pen in this map. Manchuria also has yaks. So he was probably thinking, you know, since we're going to be getting a lot of herbals on this map, why don't we make a livestock pen so we can start eating this later in the game when we probably really need it. Because on Manchuria, the hunts are pretty sparse, you know, there's a lot of them, but you have to move pretty far. And against the Swedish, they can always hit you with hussars, which are pretty good at massing. And then you got the Peruvians that could also mass up a bunch of macheteros or lanceros, so you gotta be careful. How about our other players? You know, we haven't really paid much attention to the others quite yet. So Hyper, Germany, what kind of deck does he got here? So this is actually a very treaty type deck. I don't see any crates in there at all. Lots of economic cards. Hanseatic Legion for the land we're in. So I don't know how far he's going to get with this deck. It doesn't look like it has a lot for 2 versus 2 play. But we'll see. If he can stay out of trouble for a while, maybe he'll make something in the end with it, but I'm not quite sure. And for the Swedish, does this look pretty average, the Swedish? Yep. The advanced Torp basically makes the Torp cheaper, and the allotments contain more units. Same thing with the Rust Hall, or what used to be called the Paddock. These are allotment buildings, so basically you build a barracks, you can build the Torp as sort of like an attachment building to that one, right next to it, and the Torp will give you some pop. They'll create these things called, well, actually it's called an annex. The allotments are actually the blocks of units that you can make from that particular annex, which would be the Torp, but they're basically these groups of like 10 or so units that you can train for increasing costs, pretty much, so. I think it starts out like 200 food, wood, and coin, and then it goes up a little bit more and a little bit more each time. So you can quickly mass up a large army of stuff. Now, it looks like Swedes have decided to ship in some volunteers here. For those who don't know what these are basically just crossbowmen with firearms, pretty much. Same sort of stats. And they're also going to get Norland Logging. This is a really important Swedish card. It gives you 1 build limit to your sawmills. A sawmill basically just trickles wood like a bank does with coin. It also produces wood crates around itself that your villagers can pick up and gather from. One neat little side bonus it has too is some big button technologies that increase the hit points of all your buildings except for walls. So it's really good in late game as well when it comes to building sturdier forts, towers, barracks, and so forth. They're going to be training Grenadiers, it looks like. Grenadiers, a pretty strong anti-infantry unit. Think of them as sort of like, almost like Musketeers, but, you know, good against infantry instead of cavalry. They have the same cost as the Musketeers you see here, but instead of hand armor and anti-cav, they get pierce armor and a grenade toss that's charged, so they don't do it constantly. And then when they're done with that charge attack, they'll switch over to their musketeer and start shooting. And they'll have to wait about 60 seconds to get another grenade throw. And the grenade throw itself is pretty strong. It has about 2 splash, 20 crush. So it crushes through all pack and pierce armor, and it has a bit of a multiplier against infantry, about 1.25. So very powerful stuff. Now, I don't know how the Maori are going to respond to this. They get these really powerful defensive town centers, the Pa, which can get a pretty strong range attack, and they can also build many of them too. I also don't know what... Well, it looks like Germany's going to respond with line infantry. Don't be fooled by this. These are just musketeers with the more modernized name and look to them. And I guess they're going to be used against... What is Chorizo doing? Well, Chorizo's also going barracks. I don't know exactly what Chorizo's going to get to help out over here. We'll have to wait and see. Ah, so now Attorney's going to be switching over to the Beverangers. The Beverangers, these are musketeers. They cost food and wood though. And they have some other pikeman-like properties like strong siege, also 4x against cavalry, making them more like a pikeman rather than say halberdiers. They cost coin. And as you look at the roster of the Swedes, you notice they don't get pikemen, so really think of them as sort of like a replacement to that form. But it's still having some qualities of a musket. But they're gonna have to retreat though. Here comes the Purakumu marksman. Looks like Fufi has managed to perform a fast fortress and has upgraded his marksman, that being his skirmisher unit, to a Purakumu marksman. The Purakumu marksman improves the range of the marksman, making it a longer range unit similar to that of a average skirmisher. He could have also turned them into the I forget what the basically they get another option to turn their marksman into sort of like a shotgun unit as well with less range. But I guess he decided to go with the longer range marksman for this one. Does he have enough though? I don't think he has enough to go head to head yet, but he's gonna keep trying to fight here a bit. Maybe pick off some of the infantry. He has to be careful about the grenade tosses though. These grenade throws could decimate his marksman if he's not careful. And notice the little ring around him, that basically means he's gained an attack boost from killing one of these Swedish units. Yep, bonus. That means he's going to now get an additional bonus that he can use to keep kiting and kiting and kiting. Right now, the Swedes don't have a unit to close in the gap, so they're going to actually start to train hussars from the stable, so they can actually get up and personal with these marksmen. Does Fufi know about this stable exactly? He does actually, and that's probably why he's hanging out sort of over here. He doesn't want to end up getting caught by those things in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's also going to upgrade his spearman to the Tehedawa spearman. It takes the Maori standard spearman and turns it into a splash unit, so it gains a bit of a splash attack that'll make it especially good once these hussars pop out of the stable. And what I would do is I would go back to base camp, try to meet up with the spearman, because you see, this is the problem right here. He's getting too involved up here, and then these hussars are going to snare you, and then the grenade tosses are going to hit them right in the dead center, and they're going to be in deep trouble. Oh wow, look at that. So many marksmen that even the hussars need to retreat. He really has it under control here, folks. It really does seem like it. Now, what is Juanita going to do over here? Is he going to make more hussars? Is he going to try to engage? He just can't keep taking free kills like this. He's going to have to do something. And what is the Chorizo doing? What is our Chorizo muy largo doing? Is he going to make some sort of Mosquitero? Is he going to add some Lanceros in? Because he got, yeah, this is the problem. This Swedish here is getting 2v1'd right now by an army of line infantry and by an army of advanced skirmisher units here an age ahead of you, and an army of advanced spearmen an age ahead of you. You're being outgunned and outmanned on this front. If you don't deal with this really quickly, you're going to die. You need help from your Peruvian ally here. So what do they got? They got some Independentistas that they've shipped in from the home city. Pretty good unit. Has a strong hand attack of about 45. That's pretty brutal. The Lanceros, and then they got some Legion Puana Grenadiers. They're going to have to come in right now and help clean up this mess a little bit. I would suggest get these Lanceros working on the marksmen up here. get these Independences into a safe spot so they can start their melee attack with their swords. They do have a pretty decent range attack as well, but if you can get in the melee with some of these units, that might be helpful. We'll see though. But get them in the, yep, see how powerful they are, 45 hand attack? Absolutely brutal. Yep, try to get these piranhas to throw over here. Yep, exactly, that's a good spot. That's going to ensure that these line infantry are dealt with effectively. And now you might be able to cut off some of the threat here. Now you just have to worry about these marksmen. For that, you're going to need more lanceros. You're not going to be able to go in with these at all. And I wouldn't suggest you waste these units either, since once you lose them, you lose them. You can't train these again, these Independences, since they're a Grand Colombian unit and not a Peruvian unit. Right now, the Kuma marksmen are sort of looking for a way to break into this base. They find, oh, wait a second, I can pop in over here. There's no more towers over here, but luckily the Lanceros are in to deter that. But look at this, settlers caught in the open. Yeah, that's why you can't leave home too quickly. You know, you're gonna get shot by someone, usually, or you're gonna be hit by a cavalry unit. You need to always make sure if you're gonna be walking away far from the base, you put a tower up, put a town center up, put some walls up, you know? Just put up some sort of defense to make sure you're not gonna lose that economy, because let me try to tell you from experience, you lose 10 villagers on a hunt, you lose 10 villagers on a mine, that's basically a death, an RNG right there, you're dead. You can't come back from that. You're actually really in much trouble. Oh, but now we see the redcoats coming in from the Maori here. Yeah, the Maori being a British colony at this point and shipping a lot of British units in their home city. This time they've got the Aguilers, which are basically just redcoats. They got a pretty good multiplier against cavalry. You know, about 4x against cavalry units. That's really tough. Also, their range attack is pretty decent, so be careful of these. These are pretty strong units. And we're going to see now these Aguilers and these marksmen move back towards the Swedish base again. What is the resource count of Swedes at this point, who have been pretty much under assault for a while? So they got a lot of coin. They thankfully got their bank from their bank card here, the Rick's bank up, so luckily they're going to have some coin trickle to fall back on. Now, when it comes to food, you're going to have to build some mills now, which is going to be slower, but it's going to be closer to the base to prevent you from getting sniped by these things. And do we see more the German units? Yep, we do see more line infantry. And I'm going to hope for Swedish sake that the Peruvians come up with a good attack plan here. So they do have some veteran upgraded Lanceros and Legion Piranhas. Looks like Chorizo did take the time to upgrade these units. These Lanceros in particular are going to be a strong asset because they get a strong multiplier of 2 against the skirmish units, dealing a total of 48 damage per hit. And looking at the unit here, you know, it only takes about 3 hits to kill one of these. Pretty quick damage. Oh wow, this is nice. We got a hunt over here close to the Peruvian base that now the Swedes can fall back on. And they were able to use the coin that they had already to get the gunsmith, which is going to give them access to some skirmishers. Think of the gunsmith like the marksman. You know, all the politicians in Wars of Liberty were renamed, and occasionally you'll find some like the artisan for 400 wood, or the gunsmith for 8 that gives you a couple of skirmishers that does the same thing as their vanilla counterpart did, just with a different name and icon. And at this point I feel like Swedes might be able to finally start defending their base a bit there. They do have some nice defensive shipments here of skirmishers, hussars. They could get a fort up as well. So maybe we'll see a bit of a fortification come up over here behind the towers. And that would give Peru and Swedes a chance to defend against this pressuring Maori army here. And how is Maori doing, by the way? Are they... Yep, they did indeed make some dugout canoes with their boat shed from earlier. But it does look like Chorizo also put up his guanera. A guanera is basically just a factory on water. It trickles resources. It looks like Chorizo set his up to start trickling coin. And that's going to give him a lot of coin he needs to make his sculptors and lanceros to deal with this enemy composition right here. The Maori and the Germans know it's now or never. We need to deal with this now, or else we're going to have some problems later trying to siege our way in. And they're going to start trying to pop down these towers. You see the Swedish skirmishers trying to pick off the Tehetawa spearmen, use the lanceros over here to attack the marksmen. And at least these skirmishers are statistically on par more with these Porokumu marksmen, and they're going to be able to take some bigger casualties against these units here. Yeah, see that? Now that he has the proper unit, now the marksmen are in serious trouble and they have to retreat. Also, some grenadiers on the side here were able to hook in and throw some grenades into that formation, doing some serious damage. It's safe to say at this point that the threat is almost averted. Can't say that completely, but it looks a little bit better. Oh, wait a second though. It looks like Germany has aged up on veteran line infantry and also some skirmishers of their own, so this might be a bit tighter than I previously thought. Yeah, we might have to be really careful of this here. I feel like if these Swedish skirmishers can pop off the Maori units and then move their way to the German ones, maybe, yeah, we can see a pushback here, but if not, I feel like the Maori's efforts are going to work. Now, this is an issue. You got your units focused on sieging this sawmill, but you're not focusing on the skirmishers. You need to kill the skirmishers first before you start doing a sort of siege right here. If not, you're going to give them free kills against you for free, and then you're going to have a big ball of Swedish skirmishers that you can't deal with in your own base. Ah yes, and here comes those macheteros from Peru as well as these lanceros. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that against Peru. They got 3 different types of shock units. Shock being cavalry. They get the machetero, which is a foot one that does splash. They get the lancero, which has multipliers against skirmishers, and then they get the heavy cavalry, the escolta, that has multipliers against heavy infantry. So even these line infantry would be in trouble against those. So yeah, you gotta be really careful with Peru. They got all the shock units you can imagine. Now, thankfully, Peru can upgrade the macheteros beyond the veteran level, but the lanceros and the sculptors, that's a different story. In fact, they get Royal Guard lanceros, which become slightly cheaper when they upgrade to the RG technology. Oh no, look at this mass of these skirmishers here. They're going to have an easy time ripping down these marksmen. It all depends... Oh wow, look at that, they're sandwiched though, that's not good. Just saw that coming up on them, but gotta be careful. Go back to the base, get close to your towers, maybe put a fort up. Yeah, you could also ship the 5 hussars in, and try to take as best advantage of this as possible in your base. Because right now, you luckily got a Peruvian ally who has a factory on water that they can use to great effect. Also, Chorizo, use your turret ship to start attacking these dugout canoes. No reason not to. It is a free unit that you get from your guanera. So even if you lose it, another one will be all produced there within so many minutes. Ah yes, see these hussars are going to provide a bit of a buffer here and allow some taking out of this infantry. But they have to retreat though and not get thrusted by the Tehetawas or the bayonets of Redcoat. Here comes some more lanceros from Chorizo. Oh no, don't get surrounded by the Tehetawas, that's bad, that's really bad. You're gonna lose those units. Oh, but it looks like, alright, wasn't too bad. Luckily you had the skirmishers right there. Normally you wouldn't want to get surrounded by spearmen like that. You did lose a number of them, and I don't think those ones are gonna last too long. Yeah, no, they were taken out pretty quickly. But at least you got some towers at home to help you in the defense. Take out some of those line infantry, some of the redcoats. Oh, a fort. the fort wagon? Where's the fort wagon? Where's the fort wagon? Oh, that's the chorizo fort. Okay. Where's his fort wagon? You're gonna have to protect this thing if you put a fort wagon there, just so you're aware. Nah, I would try to engage with them a bit and keep them at bay. Yeah, alright. Let's see if this fort can actually get up. Because if you can keep this fort up, I feel like now you finally keep the enemy out of the Swedish base. If they take out the fort, though, then you got some bigger problems to deal with. Also, I wonder if Swedes will put their fort up to fortify this fort here. Also, what's Fufi plan on doing in the long run here? Is he... Oh, I see. He's upgraded his fighters to the Hawera fighters. This Hawera upgrade gives them splash attack, so they get about 1 splash. And then this upgrade here, the Brave Hawera fighters, is a bit of a non-standard upgrade. Basically, it gives you 40% attack, I believe, and 20% HP. So, normally the upgrade is 30% attack and 30% HP, but since this is considered a brave unit, it sacrifices some of that safety for more attack. Likewise, he could have upgraded with another tech that gives you 40% HP and I think 20% attack. That's the way the Maori work is. They get 2 upgrade branches on each age for different things, depending on what they need. So yeah, if you're playing Maori, always make sure you pick the right upgrade or else you might end up with a unit that's statistically underwhelming for what you're looking to use it for. Yeah. I always feel like everyone goes with the Hawera fighter because I feel like the Mary, though it does technically dish out more damage, it doesn't have that splash attack, so it has a lot less utility and fights with big masses of units like this. But we do see some British rockets here from the Maori, from that 2 shipment I told you about earlier here. So yeah, these rockets are the first sort of artillery unit we see. Oh no, here comes the Hawera fighters with their guard upgrade on, the brave upgrade. That's gonna hurt. Can these Culverins beat the... Oh no, the Culverins are there too, so they're not gonna be able to deal with the rockets. Such horrible timing to be Swedish right now. That was horrible timing. Right where you didn't want to be. Oh no, that was bad. That was really bad. I would resign too there. You just lost like, I don't know, like 2k resources worth of units. Probably more. Yeah. But I'm wondering, what's Chorizo doing up here? Oh, he had his own stuff to deal with. He was dealing with veteran cuirassiers. And those probably could have, were those going to become guard? Yeah, he had the resources to make them into guard cuirassiers. That would have been nasty. Ugh. Yeah, let's look at the post-game, you know. There's a couple of different things I want to look at for Wars of Liberty. So, first one's resources. Maori, obviously, had control of the sea. They had control of the land. They had a lot of herdables, so their resources were really good. And since they were applying the pressure, they did not have to worry about getting raided themselves, so they could travel out throughout Manchuria and get all the mines and food that they needed. On the other hand, Swedish, a bit behind, but made up for it with their good wood economy. And then Germany is always going to have a strong eco compared to Peru, just because, again, free settlers from their houses do their manor boom. Military, yep, those bonus attacks from the marksman really made a big difference here. But it could be said that the Swedes did a good job at defending, as you can look at the kill count right here. The Germans and the Peruvians were sort of playing a supporting role this whole match. They weren't dealing with the brunt of the fighting for the most part, so not a lot of kills from them. And as far as the timeline is concerned, we need to look at 2 particular things for the dev team. The villagers. The devs are always curious what the villager numbers are of the players in a given match, so here it is for people that want to look at that. As you can see here, Maori got a lot of pause up, so they were basically pumping the villagers, and then second would be Germany with their mayor boom. Peru and Swedes are sort of on the downside here because, you know, they're not super big villager boom civs. And in terms of shipments, let's see what shipments, that's another statistic the devs like to see. So shipments-wise, Maori were a lot quicker, probably because they were getting some age ups that actually granted them some free shipments, so of course they were going to be a bit ahead in that realm. Everyone else generally the same though, with Swedes being a bit higher because they were performing more kills against the Maori. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed that first casted game for Wars of Liberty. I hope to do a lot more of these in the hotfix with you, but before we get to the hotfix, let's do one more in the pre-hotfix of the Great Warpath. See you in the next one. I'm signing off now from this game. Adios, Juanitos Bonitos.